Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you as well. Markets, good day coming in for the markets, right?
Absolutely. If you look at the way the markets are panning out, pretty good shape. If you look at the Nifty, it is above that 19,600 mark. In fact, it is at the day's highest point as we speak. We did have a very subdued start, but yes, then from there on we did pick up onto strong gains. And as you can see on your screen, 0.8% uptick coming in for Nifty, ditto coming in for Sensex as well. Let's take a look at what Nifty Bank is doing, because that one is moving in tandem with the benchmark indices at this point in time. 0.7% uptick coming in for Nifty Bank, while the broader markets are the one that is outpacing the Nifty Bank as well as the benchmark indices, with mid-cap index taking the charge ahead. 1.3% uptick coming for mid-cap, small-cap index trading higher by about 1% or so. Suffice to say that the advanced decline ratio right now is very much tilted in the favor of the advances, and we have 2 more hours of trading session. Hopefully we will be able to in fact hold on, and if not hold on, at least build on to those gains. Talking about the sectoral indices, then right now all the sectors are in the positive territory. Let's take a look at what IT index is doing at this point in time, because there is a marked recovery that's coming in the IT index, because that was one of the top sectoral losers in trade. It was trading lower by about 1% or so. From there on, as you can see, IT index, a very smart recovery in the positive territory. 0.2% uptick, is the least performing sector as of now. But talking about the Pharma index, what a move. Pharma index is logging in 3% uptick coming in for Nifty Pharma index. And not just the Pharma index, you have metal index that's up 2%, energy index up 2%, 1.5%. Along with that, you have PSU Bank index that's trading higher by about 1.5%. So that's the way how the markets are panning out at this point in time. And given the fact that Vinny and I are both wearing the shades of blue, in fact, trying to tell that let's break the jinx of the blues in the markets, isn't it?
Absolutely. But on that note, there are a lot of individual movers in trade as well. To talk about that, on the technical front, we're joined by Vaishali Parekh, while from the research team today we have Vamakshi as well as Lisa joining in with us. And let's get started the show. And the first stock that I'm going to talk about is Quick Heal Technologies. Now, this company is in focus. It was down and out in trade, down as much as 2% intraday. That was mainly because of a bulk deal that happened. What we saw coming in was that Peak 15 Partners, formerly known as Sequoia Capital, they actually sold their stake in the company completely. They exited the IT security solutions company. And let's not forget, Sequoia Capital sold around 17.8 lakh shares, which is amounting to around 3.3% stake in the company through an open market valuation. This was what we got to know yesterday. Now, who is the buyer of this? We also got to know that Vikas Khemani, founder at Carnelian Asset Advisors, bought 7.5 lakh shares in the company, which is 1.41% stake. So on the back of this, Peak 15 exiting it, we've seen a bit of a fall coming in the stock today, down 2% as of now as well.
All right, moving on, let's talk about MCX, and that one is the stock of the day once again. If you look at MCX, stellar and marked recovery that the stock has actually registered. 8% off the day's high, day's lowest point coming in for MCX. One of the key reasons why the stock actually dropped at open and saw a very sharp drop at open is the fact that MCX informed the exchanges that SEBI has asked the company to put on hold the proposed plan for its new commodity derivative platform to go live next week. So post that announcement, you saw the stock actually start on a very negative footing, but from there on you had an ET Now exclusive as well, and you had an MCX reply also that came in the bourses, after which the stock actually saw a recovery. And what the company has actually informed the exchanges is that the SEBI has advised MCX as well as MCX CCL to furnish detailed comments on the issues raised in the letter dated September 27th from the Chennai Financial Market and Accountability, along with supporting documents by October 3rd. The fact that the company said that they will furnish all the relevant documents by October 3rd, you saw the stock actually see a good recovery. In fact, they've also said they would the details and the comments will also be placed before the SEBI Technical Advisory Committee meeting as well. So on back of this sort of a recovery, on back of this sort of a commentary or sort of a clarification coming in from the MCX, you saw the stock recover in trade almost 8% from the day's lowest point.
That is MCX for you all. Look at the recovery that we've seen coming in as of now. But let's move on to the next one, and stock number 3 for today, HPL Power. Vamakshi, why is this one in focus and what's the news for you today?
Well, Vinny, definitely the stock is trading higher. As you can see on your screen, the stock is nearly 8% up, and that is because Motilal Oswal has recommended a buy rating for this counter. They've also given a target price of 276 rupees per share. But apart from that, when we look at the stock, earlier this month, HBL management during an analyst meet said that it was on track to achieve its revenue as well as margin guidance for the year. In fact, according to analysts at Incred, HBL Power is expected to benefit from defense sector indigenization. Apart from that, the company is also continuing to prioritize investments in the railway business. In fact, the company was also very recently awarded orders of over nearly 2,000 odd crores for a train collision avoidance system covering nearly 3,000 kilometers. So a lot of positive factors for HBL Power, and that is the reason why the stock is in focus today, and the stock is seeing an uptick of almost 6.5%.
All right, 6.5% uptick coming in for HBL Power. But Vaishali, do you think that it will only gain so much, or do you see some more headroom for this particular counter to gain 180% in the last 6 months alone?
Well, good afternoon all, and that is one of my picks today as well. So I think the overall long-term chart is so bullish, and well, this was an opportunity. 250 was a good support line where we had picked up this stock once again, and I think in all likelihood, the way these stocks have been moving, it's ready to retest the previous high. So I would be looking at a target of 300, 310 from here on.
A target of 300 and 310, so still more upside after that 180% uptick in the last 6 months as well for HBL Power. Let's keep an eye out on that one. Let's move on to the next stock, and Navin Fluorine, Lisa, this one is down and out in trade. Look at it, down 13.5% as of now as well. What is the main reason behind this?
Right, so Navin Fluorine is reeling under pressure, and that is because one of their key management person, he has resigned, Radesh Welling. He's the MD of the company, and he has resigned on personal reasons. Now, the company has not hired anyone in his place, but they will be inducting a senior person very soon. Now, a bit about Radesh Welling. He had joined the company in way back in December 2018, and since then he has been quite instrumental force in driving the capex programs of the company. In the last 3 years, 2,000 crore capex for Navin Fluorine. So what analysts are saying that for the current capex program, they are not seeing much disruption, but going forward on the future capex programs, that may see some uncertainties, because Mr. Welling he played a pivotal role in getting all these capex programs, and he was on the verge of announcing multiple capex programs in the next 12 to 36 months. And even Morgan Stanley, they came out with a note on Navin Fluorine, saying that over the last 5 years, Navin Fluorine has seen multiple changes in CEO as well as CFO level, and it is more frequent than any other chemical companies. So, well, 4th October is the date of the call where the company will discuss about the way going forward for the company on the back of this attrition. So, we can see Navin Fluorine, it was down today, and it also touched its 52-week low in today's trading session.
That is Navin Fluorine, almost at its 52-week low, did touch it intraday as well. Moving on to the next one, and Sterling and Wilson, that's the stock that is in focus as well, and that is because they have received an order win and a contract which is of around 1,535 crores is the contract price, and this is for a period of 3 years. Now, who have they received this contract from? So, Sterling Wilson and Renewable Energy have received this notification of award for the EPC projects of 300 MWAC of NTPC Renewable Energy Limited at Khandwa RE Power Park and Kutch, and that is in Gujarat. So on the back of this, today we've seen that the stock has seen a jump up in its price as well after this 1,535 crore contract price order win which they've received. So on the back of this, keeping an eye on Sterling Wilson, trading with gains of almost 4% as of now.
All right, moving on, Vaishali, let's talk about Sun Pharma. Pharma sector is actually on a surge or on a rally today. 3% uptick coming in for the entire pharma index. Sun Pharma out of that is the stock that you're going to talk about. Technically, how well is Sun Pharma placed?
So Sun Pharma, I mean, as you rightly said, overall full pharma pack is showing a lot of movement. So Sun Pharma, it has come to a resistance level. I'm looking at 1165, 1168, which has been the previous high. So, and I'm seeing the pickup in volume also since a couple of days. So if it sustains above 1168, I would be looking at a target of 1200. So this is a stock definitely to be kept on with.
All right, moving on, let's shift focus and let's in fact stay with the pharma pack itself, and let's take a look at what Glenmark Pharma is doing in today's trading session, because that one is definitely doing cartwheels when it comes to the Pharma pack. 9.5%, 9.7% uptick coming in for Glenmark Pharma alone. Why is that? You have S&P Global Ratings that has revised its outlook on Glenmark Pharma to positive from stable, as a proposed stake sale in Glenmark Life could accelerate the deleveraging as well as strengthen the company's financial position. So what S&P has done is they've also affirmed the BB long-term issuer credit rating on the company. Remember that last week you had Glenmark Pharma that entered into a definitive agreement with Nirma to actually sell about 75% stake in Glenmark Life. Also, the company, remember, while the stake sale had happened, said that the proceeds of the stake sale will be used to repay its current debt of around 4,546 crore rupees, which will help it improve its margins as well as return ratios and become debt-free. So what S&P is saying that this could raise the ratings if they'll go ahead and raise the rating of Glenmark if it accelerates the debt repayment from the proceeds of Glenmark Life sale, and also the fund from operations to debt ratio improves and stays comfortably above 45%. So thumbs up coming in from S&P for Glenmark. Post that the stock is doing cartwheels, 9.5% uptick for that one.
Okay, keeping an eye on that one. Moving on to Bandhan Bank and Vaishali, Bandhan Bank last 6 months around more than a 30% return is what it's given. What is the chart now indicating for Bandhan Bank? Should we expect a further upside?
I definitely think so. The way the chart is progressing, it is getting into the upward move. So I think the near-term target resistance would be at around 270 levels. And if you see a move past, decisive move past that, I would be looking at also 300 levels. So this is one stock which I like right now.
All right, let's just focus and let's talk about not one but two stocks. One is Hindustan Zinc, the other one is Vedanta. And Vamakshi, tell us why both of them are in the spotlight. Is this the same news peg?
Well, yes, Cheryl, you're absolutely right. It is the same news spec for both of these counters. Let me first start off with the news spec for Hindustan Zinc. Now, the board has authorized the committee of directors in order to evaluate corporate restructuring in order to unlock shareholder value. Now, the idea that Hindustan Zinc has brought forward is to create entities for zinc and lead, and they're also aiming to create entities for silver recycling. They will be naming external advisors. So that is the news piece on Hindustan Zinc, but this will also impact Vedanta because Hindustan Zinc Vedanta actually has a shareholding of nearly 65% in Hindustan Zinc. So this is a positive trigger for Hindustan Zinc as well as Vedanta. And not just that, for Vedanta, yesterday we did come across a news flow wherein reports were indicating that they were planning to repay a portion of the dollar bonds that were maturing in 2024 and 2025 in cash. So that is the main news flow, that the board has authorized a committee of directors in order to evaluate corporate restructuring for Hindustan Zinc that is impacting both Hindustan Zinc as well as Vedanta. As a result, we are seeing a very sharp uptick for Hindustan Zinc, up nearly 4%, while Vedanta continues to surge nearly 6% higher.
Surely keeping an eye out on both these names. Let's move on to stock number 10 for today, and that is Minda. Lisa, what is keeping this stock abuzz?
Yes, so Minda has, the board has approved around 26% increase in the stake in Minda Westport Technologies Limited. Now this is a JV between Minda as well as Westport, and they already owned around 50% stake in the JV, but now it will be increased to 76% after taking a 26% stake from Westport. So now they are increasing the stake to leverage on the rising hydrofuel, that is alternate fuel market, and what the management said that the CNG vehicles demand an increase that has increased significantly, and that is further expected to grow substantially. That will benefit the company. So talking about the stake deal, that the stake would be picked up for around 14.8 crore, and the acquisition of shares that is targeted to be completed on or before 31st March 2024, that is next year. And they are also in the process of modifying their joint venture agreement to encompass the hydrogen component. So that is why we can see, Minda, it's up around 2% in today's trading session.
All right, moving on. Vaishali, let's talk about Crompton and on the charts. How is this one looking to you?
So we saw that in the morning only. I mean, it's technically very well placed. It's only been consolidating since quite some time. So I would look at this stock because there is a good volume pickup. It's once again bouncing from its crucial support levels. So let's wait for the stock to move about 320. I think that would be ready for a target of 350 then. So my view is positive to be bought at these levels with a stop loss of 300.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock that is in focus, and we're going to talk about Orinda Pharma, one more pharma name that has been buzzing in trade and is among the top F&O gainers as well today. Look at the gains, almost 5.8% after coming in for Orinda Pharma. Now, the company in its Q1 FY24 con call had said that Revlimid is to be launched on 1st of October. This is what the company had indicated. Analysts expect this would propel overall EBITDA margins to 20% in the second half of the year, while a Revlimid launch is to contribute around $45 million in terms of revenue for FY24. For FY26, it's by FY26 actually going to start being $150 million and of revenue over that period of time. So let's keep an eye out on Aurobindo Pharma today, trading with gains of 5.8% as of now.
Right, today the stock is gaining about 5.8% or so, but Vaishali, Aurobindo Pharma over the last 6 months, no stopping for this particular account. If you look at the stock price performance over the last 6 months, has been actually spectacular. 78% uptick coming in for Aurobindo Pharma. Where do you see this one headed? What's the near-term target that you are setting for this one?
So exactly, I mean, we saw it has given us a stupendous run, and I think it's still likely to show good returns from here on. So I would say that now those who are holding or would want to buy as an aggressive trader, 900 or maybe 890 should be the stop loss. And now it's going towards the weekly target resistance of 1040. So to start with, I would give my target of 980. And then for a positional trade, it would be around 1020 to 1040.
All right, next up, let's talk about the entire IT pack, because the entire pack is in focus in today's trading session on back of the Accenture number that trickled in yesterday post Indian market hours, and the stocks, IT stocks actually on this intraday basis actually fell to about 3-week low. That's IT index for you. What exactly happened is that Accenture's full forecast for full year earnings as well as Q1 was way below the street estimates. Also, this is on back of the higher price pressures as well as interest rates. And you have a lot of brokerages, you name it, that particular brokerage has come up with this note on the IT index on back of the Accenture numbers. One of them has been JM Financial, where they're saying that given Accenture's full year guidance is a first peek into the potential growth trajectory for FY25, see the underwhelming guidance as the incremental negative for the entire sector. You also have ICICI Securities, which has gone ahead and downgraded some of the names. You have Macquarie that's come out with a note, Jefferies that has come out with a note, all of them coming down with a note and flagging off that yes, the fact that the commentary that's come out from Accenture does not bode well for the entire IT sector. And that's the reason why the sector was down and out in today's trading session, but has definitely seen a very smart recovery from there on.
Okay. Let's move on and talk about the big boy Reliance and Vaishali. On the charts, what is Reliance now indicating to you? Just at the beginning of this week, it was the only stock which was in the Nifty, which was in the oversold territory. So now what is the indication you're picking up on the technical levels?
Agreed, this has been a laggard. And after this good corrective move, I would say 2320 has been a crucial support level, and that's what we saw precisely yesterday. Also, it did try to correct, and it's giving a bounce from there on. So I would say, well, 2300 should be the stop loss, and the stock should be bought for a target of, to start with, 2450.
All right, moving on then, Vamakshi, let's talk about Imami, and why is this one in the news today?
Well, Cheryl, this stock is in focus today because the company has announced its entry into the health juice category. They have gone ahead and acquired nearly 26% stake in Axiom Ayurveda. Now, this company in turn is a company that actually markets a range of beverages under the brand name Aloe Fruit. Now, the company also has a manufacturing facility in Ambala, Haryana, and in fact is setting up a new state-of-the-art facility in Jammu at a cost of nearly 160 odd crores. The brand Aloe Fruit, according to the company, has a very strong market presence, and the company sees tremendous potential in this segment. So given this acquisition and the company's foray into the health juice category, we have Imami in focus. As you can see, the stock is reacting positively to this news flow. The stock is up nearly 4.6%.
Let's move on to Coal India then on the technical front. And Vaishali, what are the targets that you're keeping for Coal India? A lot of technical analysts have started talking about this one. What is your target price here?
So I would look at, to start with, well, we are approaching towards a target. Technical target 1 target comes at around 300 levels. If we move past that, I would be looking at a target of 305, 310. I would be cautiously positive, though there is an uptrend, strong uptrend, but we are highly in overbought. So keep trailing stop loss and keep holding this stock.
All right, moving on. Lisa, let's talk about Kalyan Jewelers. Why is this one in news today?
Well, Kalyan Jewellers, so Citi met up with the management, and the management highlighted that the demand trends that remain strong, and it's expected to go strong in the near future too. Well, on the competition intensity, that remains the same in the last 6 months. They are seeing no change in the competition. Talking about their franchise store expansion, that also has been good, and the store expansion in FY25, that will be in line with FY24. But the franchise-led store expansion, that will be a gross margin as well as EBITDA margin dilutive, but for the PBT margin as well as ROCE ROS, it will be accretive for these ratios. And the management also mentioned that the proceeds from the sale of aircraft that has been delayed by a few weeks led by regulatory reasons. So on the back of the management meet by Citi to the Kalyan Jewellers, we can see the stock is up around 1.3% in today's trading session.
Okay. Also, let's listen into what Vikas Khemani, founder of Carnelian Asset Management, had to say in terms of Senco Gold, because that has been a buzzer in trade of late as well. So listen into his view on this jewelry maker.
So it's a consumer discretionary space, very well managed company. Recently went public. We participated in IPO. We like the management, we like the business, and more importantly, I think valuations were reasonable when we bought. So risk reward was very, very favorable. And markets were not excited about the IPO, but we were very, very, very positive. Looking at the overall opportunity space, and it has given great returns in a short period of time. We never expected this kind of return in such a short period of time, but markets had its own way of surprising you both upside and downside. So we will remain invested in anything which we like from structural point of view.
All right, moving on. Vaishali, let's talk about IGL and how is this one looking on the charts to you?
So all these stocks, whether we talk about IGL or Gujarat Gas, they've thoroughly been beaten up. So I think it's about time that they show signs of reversal. And IGL, right now, if I'm seeing, it is taking a support of 200 moving average. So I think this calls for a good buy at these levels with a stop loss of 445 for a target of 470 to 480 for now.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels for IGL. But on that note, viewers, we're going to slip into a very short break. But as we go into the break, listen into what our Anand strategist and investor had to say in terms of the shares of his list of stocks that he has recently added, bought. Listen in.
For example, I have bought, I would call them as a medium risk to medium risk buys, which have a very sort of a doubtful past when it came to the way they manage their finances. One is a company called Suzlon, where I've bought the stock at maybe 17 or 18 rupees, very close to the QIP price. And the second one, where I'm reading more of the legal developments than the market developments, is Coffee Day. Because it appears to me, at least optically from the court readings, that there is a settlement that is going on. Most of the people on the lending side are sort of withdrawing their complaints, and if the current management is able to walk the talk, then it's only an 800 or 850 crore market cap company in a very good sector if they're able to revive. The problem is if they don't revive and managements, for example, are concealing certain things to do with debt and all, then I'll have to pay the price of it, and therefore my risk profile will be managed by not an overexposure of any kind.
The other one I wanted to discuss was Zomato. I mean, I know you bought in at 40, but have you added up in the run-up to 100 plus levels on that stock specifically?
No, I'm not added and I'm not sold, and therefore I'm pretty happy with what is happening there. In fact, the management is walking the talk to some extent, and I would rather give it more time. In fact, I was privy to one of the shows that all of you did, and you were talking about the impact that Zomato may face because of World Cup and the exuberance in terms of ordering because people will be glued to the television. So I'm also benefiting a little bit from the advice that you have sprinkled on top of my dish to wait and see how it performs.